A 4-day boycott of social media is underway to put pressure on companies like Facebook and Twitter to do more to stamp out racism and online abuse.
Yes, football's Premier League has been joined by a host of other leading sports organisations calling for better measures to tackle hate and discrimination. Here's what some of the club managers have been saying.
I am pleased that the Premier League is doing a strong decision about this. Sending letter to the social media company, because I think enough is enough.
It has to be stopped. This way of discrimination on social media, we can't do a lot, can we? So we have to work with the platforms, and they've got to be more stronger to make sure that we stop this.
Ban the whole lot as far as I'm concerned. No social media for me would be the way forward, and I'm right behind them. But I do think, Keith, in all seriousness, that the platforms which they're given, they should be policed.
People can hide behind whatever account and say what they want to say. That's a problem. I think we really that has to get sorted.
The anti-racism campaign Kick It Out is also backing the campaign. I spoke to Troy Townsend, who's head of player engagement.
I suppose it's a show of force to tell the social media companies that we can't take the level of abuse that is on those platforms without the action, without the accountability, without people being held responsible for the words, the messages that they press and send to our sports stars and people that work in and around the game. So it's the first time that I've ever experienced this kind of level of kind of collective force from football and beyond. And I think it's a powerful, powerful statement. And it's a start of maybe, hopefully, something quite new where we do all, sound the same and talk the same on the topic of racism and discrimination. You've said it yourself, British sport has never mobilised before behind its athletes to fight racism in this way, which makes it significant. I mean, what does the campaign want these social media companies to actually do? It wants them to protect its users. It's not even difficult what we're trying to achieve. We want our users to be protected. Our users are the sports stars that we've spoken about, and those that work in the game and who obviously are constantly abused as well. This is not just from a playing perspective, but we want them to protect the users, protect them from the hate, from the crime that continues to happen on those social media platforms. This boycott is symbolic, but in terms of creating change, what progress has been made so far, and what would you like to see happen next? Juliet, it's snail's pace, if you really want me to be honest. We're in 2021 and we're still talking about challenging racism. We're still talking about protecting the entertainers on the field of play from the kind of vile hatred that exists on these platforms. We're not appreciating their traumatic experiences because football, apparently, they're not human beings, and they get paid a hell of a lot of money and they should just be able to get on with it. So I think I mentioned it. It's making sure that the players can play free from fear, free from fear of playing a game of football, either making a mistake or a perceived mistake or scoring a goal against another team, and then knowing that your social media platform is going to be full of emojis with language that should not be deemed acceptable in this day and age. So getting the social media platforms to understand that language, understand the impact of what it is doing to those individuals, and making sure that it can be eliminated. But the other element of it is holding our own government to account, holding our government to say that you need to put certain things in place. They've been talking about an online harms bill now for the past 2 years. Well, we're asking for a timeline around that. We're asking for when it will come to fruition, if it will come to fruition. Is it the thing that will hold those social media companies to account? We just had the European Super League fallout, which I'm quite sure everyone will know because it was a global thing. But we had, our government talking about changing of legislation. We had the UEFA talking about throwing teams out of competition and making players not being able to represent their countries if they join the Super League. We've never seen that energy when it comes to racism and challenging it and tackling it. And all we ask for equality. We ask to be compared with, we ask for the noise around racism, not just to be noise, but actually to turn into actions. And unfortunately, we've been talking in this space for far too long. So I don't think the players want to hear the conversations anymore. They just want to see what direct actions will be taken, not only on social media platforms, but if ever they're going to have to experience racism again.